This is Elizabeth from Psychology for Geeks, and David is with me as always.
Hi, I am very uncomfortable right now.
Why?
Our microphone setup could be better. Could be a lot better.
I think you should invest in your own microphone. That'll be really cool.
I can just be all the way in my desk, like a mile away.
Your desk is right in front of mine, bro. It's like
It might
three
as well
steps
be-
away.
It might as well be a mile away, okay?
Wait. Back to the point. So this is another episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and today we're going to talk about episodes 7 and 8. We decided to do it like this because it's kind of like a part 1, part 2, so it's just a lot easier to do one episode instead of just cutting off into 2. So it will probably be a long episode, maybe.
Or not. Who knows?
I know.
Honestly, like at this point, I don't know.
I know. I mean, like, there were times where we recorded things and we're like, oh, there was one where I think it was when we were talking about, like, the different cartoons that we grew up with. I thought it was going to be like, like an hour, like tops. And you're like, no, trust me, it's going to be like 2 hours. And it was like 2 hours. So
That's because I know how long we're going to talk about stuff. We usually take a long time. Also, having ADHD kind of helps with that.
well, yes. I mean, I don't know if sometimes it can be helpful because it can make it like more interesting. And like you were saying the other day, like, side questing, like different sort of like conversations can be kind of fun because then you learn we get to talk about and geek out about a lot of different things, which, I mean, that's kind of why we ended up calling the podcast as a whole a pinch of everything, right? Right. I'm just answering myself. Yeah. Okay, so I do have a question before we get started. Do you skip the intros when you rewatch a cartoon or when you are like in the second season or something?
I personally do. I make it a point to watch any new intro, if it's a second season or something like that. I make sure to watch it because at least, I kind of have to watch it. It's almost obligatory at this point.
So you watch the intro at least one time and then sort of like skip it afterwards?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to anime, I sometimes usually just skip it. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm like, because a lot of the times, especially like if I'm in my room, I just like cast it to the TV and I'm like cleaning up or organizing something or like occupied with a different task. Hello, ADHD. And then I'll let it play. Other times I'm like, I have no time for you. I want to like get to the next one, especially if it's something, maybe if I seen it for like the first time. If it's something like, for example, Avatar that I've seen like a bunch of times, I guess again it depends on my mood. Sometimes I do skip it, sometimes I let it play. That was a long answer to say yes and no, maybe.
That was the longest way that I've ever heard for you to just say kinda.
But it was a lot more interesting, wasn't it?
No. You
Yes,
could have
it
just
was.
said
Shut
kinda. Depending on what your ADHD wants you or demands of you right now.
Okay, so we are gonna go into like a brief sort of, oh no, we started this podcast without even talking about tea. That is blasphemous.
We're not even drinking any. Dude, we have to start. That's it. Restart.
Okay, and we are back after taking a 10-minute break to go get tea because we totally forgot the whole point of this podcast was to drink tea and talk about it.
Oh, I thought we were going to like restart the recording.
No, too late for that.
It's too late.
Anyway, so yeah, we actually David has been on this like journey, like tea discovering journey. So he has a different tea than I have today. But before we talk about our teas, I wanted to talk about like the tea fact that we kind of started doing last or the previous episode. And because I am drinking a kind of green tea, I thought I'll check something out that is sort of related to green tea. And I found something that I didn't know about this. So apparently, the origination of green tea began in China way back in like 2737 BC when a Chinese emperor accidentally drank a cup of hot water that a leaf had fallen on it, and that's how it was discovered. So it's a little lame, but I'm really really glad.
Wait, how do you not know that? I accidentally learned about that. I
When
don't
you
even know when or how, but like I knew this.
Well, I had looked it up before because
That was probably it.
I had I don't know. Well, you looked up tea facts last time, so maybe that's how you learned it.
Nah, I'm just most smarter.
Okay.
SMRT smart.
Yeah. So I actually had learned it before, but completely forgot about it. So there you go. We both either learned something or relearned something today. David, do you want to talk about what kind of tea you're drinking today?
I would love to, but somebody threw away all of the information I had on that tea.
No, the tea container has like a little thingy on it, and it says what kind of tea is in it. Yeah, go get it. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of like open this. So a while back, we discovered that there is this super awesome um, games game place, game shop in Burbank, I think, like near LA. That's called Geeky Teas. And me being both a geek and nerd and tea lover, we were like, we have to go check it out. So we went, and I ended up buying a couple of bags of tea. I got one that's Agent Coulson, Agent Coulson blend. Another one is I Am Groot blend. But David is, I'll have David explain which one he's drinking today. Stop, just talk.
All right. My tea is called Agent Coulson's Blend. It is a pu'era?
Pure. I think it's pronounced pure.
Yeah, that. It has apple pieces, dried coconut, marigold flowers, ooh, mango pieces, ooh. You can put like some mango drink into this. It'll make it taste better. And it has natural coconut and papaya flavors. It is pretty good.
Okay, so that's the tea that he is drinking. I love all kinds of fruit, so that's part of the reason why I got it. And also, I think at the time I was like super into Agent Coulson. He's one of my favorite characters. Although I never really ended up finish watching. I didn't finish watching Agents of Shield because then it kind of got weird after a while. Anyway, but I am drinking sencha tea, Japanese green tea, organic from Trader Joe's. Speaking of Trader Joe's,
No, this will not be derailed a second time. Let's go continue to the Avatar.
But David, I have to talk about food. People must know. People need to know.
They don't need to know shit.
They need to know. Okay.
No.
Full, yes.
No.
Full disclosure. So we had to like restart part of this episode for the second time because I didn't realize that something was going on with the program, and it didn't record about 10 to 15 minutes that we were talking about. And in those 10 to 15 minutes, I talk about how one of my favorite Italian dishes is gnocchi, but I've only ever had really good gnocchi when I was in Italy or whenever I visited in Italy. But I've never had it here in the US because I think there is like a slight difference in the way that they make it here in the US. So I never really liked it. And David went off on this rant, and it took a long time for me to tell the story. You were all complaining. You were like, "But didn't you get it from scratch from like some lady that was like a family recipe or whatever?"
I asked 2 questions, and then you gave me 7 paragraphs.
Anyway, yeah, so I studied abroad in Italy, and the lady made it for me, and it was like the best thing I've ever had in my life. So when I came back to the US, I tried different restaurants that were like, really nice or really legit traditional Italian restaurants, but it wasn't the same. But when I went to Trader Joe's the other day, I got a gnocchi that was sweet potato based, and it was actually pretty good, so I recommend getting that one. David was like, he didn't really like it. He liked the sauce that it came with, but he didn't really like it. But he's not a fan like a super fan of like sweet potato. So I think you just like the regular gnocchi from like regular potatoes, not sweet potatoes. But
I
anyway,
think it's all right.
I think you should try if you have.
No.
Please. Not you. I was talking to the audience. Jeez.
No.
To the one person that's listening to us. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's me when I'm editing this.
Anyway, yes. So, like I said earlier, we are talking about episodes 7 and 8 of Avatar, which is the whole point of us doing this recording today. And so, just a brief explanation. This is the one episode where the gang comes across a piece of, I guess, a mountain or like a meadow that's like completely
Well, it'd be a
burnt
forest, not a
down.
meadow. Meadow's open.
Yeah, okay, forest. That's like completely burnt down, and an elder of a nearby village asks Aang for help because there's a spirit that has been kidnapping one person pretty much every night and destroying buildings and whatnot. So Aang goes to help, but then he kind of like opens up and tells his friends that he doesn't actually know how to communicate with the spirit world because he was told that
He got frozen.
well, yeah, no, but he was never taught anything. Like his previous teacher, what's his name again?
Gyatso?
Yeah, Gyatso was told him that Roku was supposed to help him with the journey, but like he didn't actually tell him how to communicate, and because he ran away, and the whole story happened. Like he didn't actually learn how to do that. Eventually, he does get to the spirit world, but that's not before Sokka gets kidnapped by the spirit Heibai. Heibai. And at the same time, we also follow sort of like Zuko and Uncle Iroh. And when Uncle Iroh gets like kidnapped, not kidnapped, what am I this? Like taken prisoner by Earth Kingdom soldiers as he's just like relaxing and bathing in this like hot spring. That's the word.
Okay, we could not for the life of us remember that word. But back to the thing, something that, probably is obvious to a lot more people than me. I've realized that both of this episode has like two mirrored stories where both parties get someone taken away from them. And obviously they have to do what they can to get them back. Zuko has to not look for the Avatar in order to get his uncle back. And Aang has to look way deeper within himself and the whole Avatar powers, which he is absolutely new to.
I did realize that it was kind of like two stories, or like it kind of flipped because the whole episode kind of went back and forth between like what was happening with the gang and what was happening with Zuko, and a lot of episodes are pretty much like that. But I didn't make the connection where they both had someone taken away and they had to go and rescue them.
See? Most smarter.
So one of the things that I kind of kept thinking about, and it's probably something that I will continue to say throughout this podcast, is that I really liked how Sokka and Katara sort of take time to be there for Aang. Because when they came across like the burnt trees and stuff, he was like really sad, and Sokka was like going on this rant about how it was the Fire Nation soldiers and how dare they, and he just wanted to sort of like rant and get his anger out, which is normal, fine, it's a good thing to do. But then Katara realized that Aang needed to be comforted, and then so Sokka was like, oh, okay, I'll hold my anger and my own emotions to be there for my friend who needs me more. So I really like that they do that.
Then he got pelted by an acorn.
That was funny.
And then Sokka got pelted by an acorn.
I think
Katara really takes no prisoners, huh?
I really like how it doesn't matter how many times I watch these episodes, I still giggle every time like something funny happens. Even though I know it's coming, I remember it, but it's just still funny.
That's what makes it a good joke, When the joke is still funny even years afterwards, it is a good joke.
Either that or my sense of humor never matured since I watched it for the first time.
What is a matured sense of humor? I mean, let's be honest. What are you supposed to laugh at? Huh? Like just more gruesome jokes, political jokes?
If they're funny.
What? You see? I'm funny.
No. I was just asking David because David edits these, and I kind of like not really want to listen to them because it's really weird, and I kind of feel like I should maybe apologize because I didn't realize, like, I don't, we can't hear our own voice unless, like, we're like listening to a video or whatever, or a playback recording of yourself. But every time I have to listen to myself, I realize how childish my voice sounds, and it's kind of annoying. I know
it hurts my ears sometimes. I want to
sorry.
let you know that.
I don't know what to do. That's just my
Not
voice.
Squeal. That's it. Just laugh like you normally do. That's fine. Just don't fucking squeal
But
in
it's
my ear.
but it's funny though.
The pain.
And I never do it in your ear.
Yeah, not on purpose.
Exactly. See, it's not on purpose.
I don't mean jack diddly squat.
Anyway, so part of what I wanted to actually talk about today, and I'm totally not prepped for this because I just thought of it, but it's the connection with the ancestor. So Aang had to. I mean, Roku is not really his ancestor. It's almost like a previous life, but yeah, close enough.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so Roku is there to help Aang, right? And just kind of
Okay, I'm just gonna cut you off right there because I can. Every time you say Roku, I immediately think of Roku Shiki.
Who's Roku Shiki?
It's not a who, it's a what.
What is?
And it's an ability in One Piece.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's it. I just wanted to interrupt this entire podcast just for that. Keep going.
I don't think there's ever going to be an episode that we record in which you do not talk about One Piece. Are you gonna? You just got super close to the microphone and didn't say anything. Okay, so
listen, my mind was buffering, but then I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I just didn't say anything?
Okay, so anyway, so the whole point of this is like these two episodes sort of reminded me of sort of like the connection or the loss of connection with our ancestors. This is something that David and I have talked about before, just based on our own sort of experiences. But a lot of when we are growing up, sort of like our teenage years, our environment and the people around us sort of shape what we do, who we are, and sort of like our thoughts. But if we don't have that connection with our ancestors, or we're people who can guide us when we are struggling, or like just throughout our growth journey, it can be even more difficult because you have to find everything sort of on your own. And that's something I feel like we both experience. I mean, to say David and I, because even though we had our parents and like our siblings, for the most part, we weren't really connected with our extended family. I feel like a lot of things we had to just sort of do without, or we didn't have that advantage of, spending a lot of time talking to grandparents and getting their wisdom or hearing their stories because we were just in different countries. And I wanted to highlight the importance of understanding that connection with your ancestors. Even if you don't really understand or you don't know like family members, what I mean is sort of like your ancestors, like who are the people that you come from? Who are the people that were here before you? The people that learn all kinds of things about mental health and careers and how to live a good life. Like what were their beliefs, what were their I guess the life lessons that they learned that they could have imparted on you. And I bring it up because I've been learning a lot about how colonialism sort of cut those connections with our ancestors. Because in order to be able to survive in a colonized country or land, you kind of had to assimilate more with the people that were there colonizing. So,
Assimilate.
okay, that is your whole response to my awesome point.
Yeah. We had to essentially get rid of what well, not necessarily get rid of, but we had to take more of their culture and implement it into ours to the point where ours kind of get lost, but not fully. Even now, we still have like habits that we used to have way back in the past times. For example, one of the things that I noticed eventually when my sister pointed it out, it is when Mexicans are talking to each other with friends, family, etc., we somehow end up always making a circle. It has to be a circle. It can be like a half circle, but it has to be circular in order for everybody to get heard. Normally, when other culture, well, I don't know about other cultures, I'll be honest, but the American culture really doesn't do that. It's either face to face or you're side by side, or at least that's what I've noticed from just living here in the U.S.
I think it's very and like an unconscious thing that happens, like where it's just a circle just forms whenever you are with like friends or family. Especially in Mexico, like there's just something about like being in a circle. And then so I actually took this one class where they explained the importance of the circle, because when you're in a circle, no one's above or below anybody, and everybody has a chance to speak their mind or to talk or to say anything that they wish to, because everyone is sort of like on the same page, on the same sort of um, step, I guess, in the journey of life. And it's, I don't know, I really like that. The other thing too um, that I've sort of been learning about is that our ancestors knew a lot about helping each other, and in turn like also about mental health is sort of like the thing I geek out about. And then so when I learned that, I was like, no way, I thought it was always like based on like physical health seems to be sort of like the one thing that is most important in a lot of different cultures, or at least the thing that gets passed down, like the home remedies that get passed down. But mental health was also taken into consideration in like the Aztec culture. And so I feel like that's amazing. And but all the knowledge has sort of been lost, partly because we were colonized and a lot of things were distracted, but also because that connection with their ancestors was completely destroyed. I know there are people who are still connected with their ancestors, but just in our own sort of experience, David and I have not had that connection with their ancestors. So it has been a really awesome journey. And like every time I learn something, I come and tell David, because I'm really excited to share all these things that I'm learning about sort of our ancestors. So I really would like to hear from you. Like, what's something that you learned from your ancestors or about your ancestors that has started to guide you, or it had changed your life in some way? I think that would be interesting for us to learn, especially if you are also of Mexican descent and can tell us about anything about ancestors. That would be fantastic, because I'm trying to learn more about that. Stop getting distracted. Put your phone down.
Listen, you said I had to buy a microphone. Now I have to look for them.
I didn't. I said I didn't have to.
No, you said it. Now I have to do it.
Oh, another reason why I wanted to bring up the ancestors is because in a lot of tribes or different cultures, taking care of the land is an important part, or something that the
Or
ancestors
being
talk
a
about.
part of the land, being part of the ecosystem that already exists there.
Yeah, and then I think that's kind of like why I started thinking about it, is because the spirit Heiba, he was actually like a panda bear, but he turned
Boo,
into
pandas.
he turned into this kind of like monstrous spirit, because he was
With tiny
so
arms.
angry about what was done to his home, that he just kind of went on this rampage.
And that's why having a garden, no, not a garden, farming, that's why farming kind of sucks for the land in general. Yeah. Did you know?
No.
Well, normal farming, the way that the colonizers use it, or the way that everybody does it nowadays, basically just takes nutrients from the soil and doesn't give anything back. Then people eventually discovered, like other farm. I can't remember what it's called, like circular farming or something like that, where you put another crop that replenishes the nutrients, but it also takes other nutrients, and eventually that land just isn't that good for planting anymore. When the natives would go and get meals or food, it'd be like a forest of food, like a literal food forest where anything and almost everything from roots to barks to almost any other plant that just grew there naturally and normally, they would, it'd be edible. It'd be good for the people. And they didn't even have to work that hard because everything was a part of the system already. And all you had to really do was take what you need and don't take any excess. And then it just grew back by itself.
Yeah, I mean, since that times that you were talking about, I mean, a lot has changed. So I don't know if it's possible for us to go back. But taking steps to get to that point, I think it would be good.
Yeah, probably. But back to Avatar.
No,
And
no,
the way,
no, yeah, no, yes, but I want to ask you something because when so this is David's second time going to the San Diego Comic-Con, and cosplaying has been something that has been on my bucket list for a long time, but it gets really hot in San Diego and there's so many people and it gets crowded and I get really angry when I'm hot and sweaty. So I always thought, hey, I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna cosplay. Or if I do cosplay, it has to be something that is not like very bulky or anything, because I just be sorting through the whole thing, and I don't like carrying anything. Because I know I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff there, so I'm just gonna be carrying extra things. So
Hear me
question, out. No wait.
Okay.
My question to you and to everyone out there who is listening, what nation would you prefer to cosplay? Airbender, waterbender, earthbender?
Probably Firebender.
Why?
Hear me out. Because they don't wear baggy clothes. Because if they did, it would burn. Because of all the firebending they're doing. So they have to have things that are not necessarily very light, but it exposes a lot of like their, selves, skin. So yeah, I'll go Firebender. But hear me out. I would like to go cosplaying as someone who is either lazy or has a shopping cart.
Why a shopping cart? A shopping cart.
Why would you carry anything when you can push it?
Yeah, but can you imagine going into those crowds and pushing a cart? You will get like...
Well, not if you make the cart look really cool. And in which case, people are going to go like, wow, that's pretty cool. Or it'll stand out enough that people will move out the way.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Probably. So back to Avatar.
Now, I think I would like to go dress as either a waterbender or an earthbender. Because
good luck with all that fur.
I like the... No, I didn't say I was going to wear the freaking parkas. Because Katara and Sokka both have like clothes that look more kind of like PJs. where it's just kind of like a dress or like a shirt and pants. That's what I would wear. Not like the whole parka thingy.
They probably had to modify it like heavily.
Well, yeah, no, duh. They're no longer in the South Pole, dude.
Not only that, like all of their clothes is probably made thicker. So even then, there's like boiling.
David, I would just wear blue clothes, okay? That's my point. I would just wear blue. Or green.
Yeah, don't do that.
Blue or green. That's what I would wear. Is there... So you were like... Is there something... I kind of interrupted you. Like, was there something you wanted to talk about?
You did. A lot. I'm sad now. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, you convinced me. So, I don't remember if it's part of this recording or was part of like the previous one, but it is when Uncle Iroh got captured. Or before he got captured. I don't know if it's a part of this recording.
I don't think so. I mean, we briefly mentioned it, but I don't think you said anything about it.
No, before he got captured, they basically show a little mouse that goes up to him, and Uncle Iroh, being the chill motherfucker that he is, he's just like, oh, cool, mouse. Grabs it, and then like just, lets the mouse do its thing and puts it back down. And then the mouse tries to get his attention. why would it get attention? How would an animal be this clever unless it wasn't an animal, but a spirit of some kind, trying to warn him of danger? But he didn't pay attention. So he was like, oh, and got captured.
Oh, you have a good point because later on in the episode, he does see Aang riding Avatar Roku's dragon.
And he understands fully what that means. He's like, the Avatar is not only out and about, but he's learning about what he needs to do. And right now, whatever, like he probably knows how, like all about Roku's dragon, considering he is known as the Dragon Slayer / Dragon of the West. So he's like, huh, that is probably something very important right now.
That's a good point because I was just gonna go with the standard answer of like, well, I don't know. In all cartoons, animals always display more of like human qualities, but I was like, wait a minute, you do have a good point because it is possible. Because then I know you haven't seen most of the Legend of Korra, but from what I briefly remember from the Legend of Korra, in the spirit world, there are a lot of like different like spirit animals out there, or like animals are spirits. So it is possible that the little mouse was a spirit trying to warn him.
Also, Aang does mention that the dragon was a spirit guide for Roku, as Appa is a spirit guide for Aang. So even though we don't know
Wait,
what
not
Iroh's
spirit. I think he
guide,
said animal.
no, well, it's still a guide. It was a spirit guide. Yeah, no, that's what he said. Anyways, point being, we don't know what Iroh's spirit guide is, but we do know that he is such a mellow dude that spirits like him to the point where he can literally see them.
I don't think it's necessarily so much that he's mellow. I think it's because he is so much more aware of what's happening, like of himself and like things and people around him. Because he like, you know, like in future episodes we see how he interacts with sort of like his enemies, which are like the gang, and he and eventually like ends up helping them, or he's just kind of like a bystander. He doesn't really do anything. So I actually today I posted something on my Instagram. It was a quote because I was trying to promote this other podcast where I talk with a couple of really cool friends about Avatar. And the quote is from Uncle Iroh, and I don't want to butcher it because it's such a good quote. So the quote is, "I know he doesn't want me around right now, but if he needs me, I'll be there." And I totally messed up the episode because I forgot the word. I mean the post because I forgot the word now. But yeah, I mean that's basically what he does. This is this whole embodiment of being like a guide or like a parent figure for Zuko. Like he's just there in case Zuko needs him to offer, you know, wisdom and guidance, but he's not gonna actively intervene. That's why eventually he lets him go, and like Iroh ends up being taken prisoner. Like a lot of things happening later on that makes this a lot more clear. But like right now, like in these episodes, it's not as clear. But I don't know. I really like Uncle Iroh. He's the best.
He's so cool.
Yeah. David was just making like this comment about how, because then when the Earth Kingdom soldiers were taking Uncle Iroh, he like fell on purpose to leave behind one of his sandals, and they was like, "Why would you smell it?" And I was like, "But isn't that like the most human reaction?" Because Zuko, as soon as he picked it up, he smelled it, and it was smelly.
He was like, ugh.
Yeah, but like that's like the most human reaction. I feel like that's sort of like instinctive to like smell it, even though you know it's probably gonna be stinky.
Sometimes I can't just help but get a good whiff of that.
So talking about like, and kind of backtracking. Wait, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Like as soon as I think of something, I take a sharp breath. You take a sharp breath, and then you start talking. I'm like, fuck. No, but what I wanted to say is the setup for the next part of the episode and basically the rest of the story. It's so good. Because like in story and writing, you need a really good hook. They gave an ambiguous, giant rock, meteor. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? And then the next episode, they answer it. Not only do they answer it, but they give you a time limit. Now you have to, like, go and do these things. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed, and the rest of the world is as well. Even if you do the most selfish and greedy thing ever, you're still going to get screwed over.
You know, this is one of the things that I do like about Avatar. It's like I didn't notice until you mentioned it, but there is a lot of time limits that get imposed on Aang at the end of the summer, and then like in a few days, or like the next attack plan of attack is gonna be then, or like the Fire Nation is gonna attack at X time, and then that is good. I feel like because the creators could have easily just busted out episode after episode, kind of like more filler episodes.
Episodic.
Yeah, but they didn't. They had like a time limit that limited not only the characters but also the creators into like telling the story.
Yeah, that is one good vehicle or way of basically making the world feel alive. Because the time limits are always external. They're always something else happened. Someone else hatched a plan because guess what? The main character doesn't drive existence. You know, they don't have to be in frame all the time to make sure that the rest of the plot keeps going. They have to just exist in the world and everything else will move with or without him. And that's pretty key.
No, but also like one of the things I like about this is that, I mean, the title of the cartoon is Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Aang is the Avatar, making him the lead. But also, is he really the lead? Because I feel like everyone got a significant amount of screen time. Because there were episodes where Aang just appeared for like a few minutes. That was it, and it was always like relevant to the story. It wasn't. It didn't feel forced.
It's like Aang is it's his story. It's the show is named after him, but he is not the only main character. Yeah, you are very much correct.
I
Because
always am.
Zuko is the other one.
But not always. Well, I don't know. I mean, kinda. Yes, but I feel like there's more because then Azula also becomes a primary.
Well, yeah, but not
Eventually.
as much as Zuko. Not even close to the amount of Zuko's development. Well, let's be honest. Zuko gets the best development and character arc throughout the entire thing. He goes on his own hero's journey, and you know the best redemption that I've have seen so far.
It'd be really cool if we invite someone to talk about like Zuko's hero journey because I don't know. I don't I know like enough about Mihiru's journey, but not a lot. So I would like to learn more, and I don't want to look it up. So if we invite someone to talk to us about it, it
It's
would be a lot
very
easier.
simple, actually. The hero's journey is call to adventure, or like I think it's the guy's bored, then he gets called to adventure, then or via some
Oh,
sort of prophecy or somebody go gets him. Then they do adventuring, find plot, or you know the next step in the hero's adventure. Then there is the darkest hour, where the hero is at his absolutely lowest, and then from there they essentially do the the rest of the plot where he gains all of his confidence back, or he gets out of that like darkest moment and he succeeds in one way, shape, or form. There are a lot of stories where they drag the hero into their darkest hour and then make it even darker, and then they start like coaxing him out slowly, and I'm like, fuck, that's pretty good, because they do that in One Piece.
wow. Part of me wishes that I knew how to edit slash had the patience to edit things. So I just got every time you talk about One Piece. No, that's a good explanation of a hero's journey, but it's a lot more complex than that. And I will
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
well, yeah, but that's why I want someone else to come and talk about it, so I don't have to research.
I watched like an hour-long video about it, and I remember little to nothing.
All right, this is gonna be like a super obvious question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Would you want a pet dragon?
Depending on the dragon and depending on the dragon's size.
Explain yourself.
Because if the dragon is most smarter than you, then you're not going to be the owner for very long. If the dragon is just absolutely gargantuan, what are you going to feed him? if the dragon is like a little, small dragon about the size of a cat, but still very, dragon-like and powerful
Like
because it's a
Mushu.
dragon, then, probably, yeah.
I wonder if I can turn Canelo into a dragon.
No, he's a dog.
But he acts like a cat.
No, he doesn't. Not even close.
Yes, he does.
He's not that dumb.
Cats aren't dumb.
No, I'm saying he's dumber.
Oh, well, that's true. I still love him though. That's a good point, because I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool to be like Roku and have a dragon? But then I was like, what did Roku feed his dragon? Because that was a massive dragon.
Probably magma. Or some sort of magic fire. Dude, I don't know.
Wait, I don't know. In my
Spirit
head,
juice?
spirit juice. In my head, dragons always ate like meat.
Yeah, a lot of dragons are carnivorous, at least according to people's made-up lore. But I don't know. Maybe it could be vegetarian and just start eating trees. Maybe that's the reason why deforestation is happening in increased rate.
Because dragons are eating.
Yeah, those guys are assholes.
No, but now that I think about it, Appa is like a 5-ton monster or something like that. Dragon. Wait, not dragon. What am I saying?
Based off of a bison.
Yeah, and he is supposed to be
Herbivore.
yes, but also like I will imagine he needs like a lot of food in order to be able to fly, because he's constantly flying.
Literal tons.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, where does the gang find food for him? Because sometimes they just give him berries and like a little bit of food. We don't usually see Appa eating a lot.
No, we always see him eating. If he's not eating, he's like just standing there or flying.
He's just snacking, bro. It's like a tiny baby snack. Well, I know
he has probably like 13 stomachs.
But they don't. I feel like they don't feed him enough. Now I'm concerned. I should. So now moving on to episode 8 or part 2. I honestly wait. Aang is trying to go to wherever
Crescent Moon Island within the Fire Nation's territory, trying to figure out what does it mean. What does his vision mean, and what could Roku, tell him and teach him? And how long does he have?
What he said. And also, when he gets there, he ends up talking to Roku, which gives him a lot of useful information. But also, again, like you said, he gives him a time limit of like, by the solstice, you need to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And then the Fire Nation butts in again, like always, and everybody gets captured. But then Roku takes over Aang's body and kicks some ass, and then the friends escape. The end.
And let me just add on to the previous like plot hook, the main one, the Sozin's Comet. Right here, they explain more about Sozin's Comet. It's like, okay, this comet literally increases the power of any and every firebender to like 10 times their normal amount, or like this insane degree. So now Aang is faced with something that no avatar has faced before, or at least that we are aware of. So when he has to go through the rest of his hero's journey, he now has in mind, okay, there's a time limit and I cannot play around anymore. Although I would love to. There are some other, I think like in later episodes, they could have, I think, whatever, I'm going to cut it then.
No. Yeah, I okay, so I'm going to take over because your brain cell came to mind. And yeah, I know what you're trying to say, where he, there's times where he's very like, yes, okay, let me focus. I need to learn the elements so I can fight the Fire Lord. And there's times where he's like, yeah, like, I'll do it later. Or like, let's just go on this adventure over here. But wasn't one of the first episodes where he was like hopping everywhere? And they were like, oh, the Avatar is a master of like, wait, was it? Not disguise, but a master of evasion. He was just going to like random places that he really wanted to go visit. Yeah, so like there's times where he's not doing any of that, which is actually good because like the human body can't constantly be under like that amount of pressure, and he is like 12. Yeah, he's probably
112.
yeah, whatever, 12. And yes, he mastered airbending, but that's like awful lot of responsibility that he's being placed on, and he has no one to guide him. Sure, there's adults here and there that pop up, like what's his friend, King Boomy, and the Earth King, I guess, eventually. I don't know if that really counts, but like his friends are there. Sokka's dad is there to help, but they're kind of like in and out because they're doing sort of like adult things, and the kids are sort of left to their own devices. But there's still like a lot of pressure. They're like, sure, Aang is just gonna go and fight the Fire Lord and win.
This child is going to fight an entire army and topple a huge kingdom that has basically taken over most of the known world. Good luck with that. That always felt a bit off, but then again, it's a kid's cartoon and suspension of disbelief and all that good stuff. That's why I always believe that Aang is one of the most, if not the most powerful avatar to like live. Because he learned all of the elements in a couple of months. Not even a year.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, because I know there's going to be people who are going to contest this because we have so many listeners. Please listen to this podcast and share with other people. We would highly appreciate it. No, but like in Korra, because when they find out that Korra is the next Avatar, she already knows how to use like 3 of the elements, and she's like 5 at that time. But I think it really depends on circumstance. Like I think the avatars are just prodigies in their own way, but Aang had a lot more pressure than Korra had at a younger age. Korra was already like a teenager when she was sort of like trusted into the world, and she wasn't alone. She had a lot of people around her, a lot of adults. Given most of them were trying to make decisions for her, and she had to go off on her own, find her own sort of like path. But Aang didn't really have all that support. The support came primarily from his friends who are about the same age. So I feel like there's a lot of mistakes that happen, or like in some ways the storyline kind of gets extended a little bit more because he is just a young child, and then so he doesn't really know like how to get there fast, and he's just kind of getting distracted by other things that he really wants to do.
But Aang, unlike Korra, already knew who he was as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't necessarily have to live up to anyone's legacy except the Avatar, which he is. Korra, on the other hand, had to live up to a legacy of some guy that brought literal world peace.
Okay, why are we like comparing Korra and Aang? This is supposed to be about episode 7 and 8, but I would still like to know, who do you think is stronger, Korra or Aang?
Not that argument. I'm gonna cut that up.
No. I would like to know. I would like to take a vote. Who do you think is the stronger avatar, Korra or Aang? And of course, you have to provide evidence. You can't just say one or the other. Give us evidence. Give us facts.
Yeah, and episode stuff, and then I'll just never
timestamps of exactly where we need to look. Even though
videos.
Or the two.
Yeah.
Make a YouTube video for us so that we can just sit there and watch all these presentations happening.
That's right. Your homework is to entertain us. Have fun.
You have a week deadline from whenever you watch this.
Deadline or a week-long deadline?
A week-long deadline.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, what is a feeble deadline gonna look like?
Okay, so part of like my argument that I had, or like, I don't know, maybe like a pet peeve, is that when Aang gets to like the fire temple, he gets greeted by like a bunch of the fire sages, and then they just immediately start attacking him. And then I'm like, wait a minute, if they're not loyal to the Avatar anymore, which is their sole purpose is to serve the Avatar, like what is their purpose now? Like, it's not like they can be serving like the Fire Lord from the temple. Like, they can just go and do that at the palace, right? Like, what is the purpose of the fire sages? They have no purpose anymore because they're traitors. That's right.
Well, yeah. They betrayed the Avatar, yeah. They lost their purpose like a long time ago. The only one that still had a purpose was the one that betrayed them in order to help Aang, because he still knows and fully understood what the Avatar actually means. And it means balance for everybody, not just for one group of people.
I really like that guy. I don't know. We don't know
Too
actually.
bad we don't remember his name.
Or, like, he never comes up again.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
does.
think. Does he?
He does, yeah.
When?
Later. In season 3.
I don't remember. So in my head, he doesn't come up again.
Somewhere there.
We don't know what happens to him.
Listen, when we go into the episode where he comes up again, I'm going to go like, see? Told you.
Okay. In the meantime, again, there is no purpose to the fire sages, and I'm just really mad at them because they're traitors.
Yeah, they're stinky.
One of the funny things is that, okay, so like, okay, no, again, Zuko again is one of my favorite characters. He had a really good character development, but it just makes me really angry how everyone else, aside from his uncle, just treats him like a traitor, like a horrible person. Like if he was a horrible person, which he's not. He's just a moody teenager.
Yeah, horrible people tend to treat kids like dirt.
I guess. Yeah, but like,
and that's how they show you that they are bastards.
well, what is it? Admiral Shao? Admiral what?
Zhao.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, later on, I feel like he gets what he deserves, but
Oh yeah, he goes insane in the spirit realm.
yeah, but like, so because he believes that Zuko is also a traitor, like not only do Aang's friends Katara and Sokka get captured, but so does Zuko. And then as soon as Aang / Roku come out and they did like throw this like massive fireball at the firebender soldiers and the
It's more like a fire
and
wave.
the surges, whatever it's called. And then like the chains sort of melt away. Zuko books it out of there so fast. He's like, I ain't staying here for nothing.
Well, yeah,
Peace.
like he's surrounded by enemies at that point. It's like, all right, well, I guess like that's it. That's the end of my job.
Smart boy, good decision making.
Well, yeah, that's how he stays alive long enough to be in Korra. Unlike Aang.
Well, like if Aang was alive, it wouldn't be Korra. Now you know who I'm mad that's not alive? Sokka. He should have been alive.
Yeah, and if they were gonna kill him off, do it in the most epic way possible. Because, like, he just died off screen. That is the worst offense that show has ever done to me, and that's why I stopped watching it. As soon as I learned that, I was like, I hate the show now. Sokka is my favorite character.
Wait,
if you haven't noticed.
have you seen that post? I think it's from one of the comics that got released afterwards, where like it's like, oh, Katara, and then they explain that she's a waterbender from like the southern tribe, and then they're like, oh, this is Sokka, Katara's brother. Have you seen that one? Like they did him so dirty, and I'm like, oh,
What? Not even tactician
no,
of
nothing.
like
He's just
everything?
he's just Katara's brother.
That is so disrespectful, dog. He was such a beast.
Yeah, the disrespect. Like he got done dirty in that one.
Man, the Avatar franchise has gone down in recent years. I am so sorry, new Avatar fans.
Are you looking forward to like?
No.
Okay. David is not looking forward to the live action one.
I am, however, looking forward to the live action One Piece.
Just a reminder to everyone, especially David, this is an Avatar episode, not One Piece.
Listen. You hear that?
No.
Well, yeah, nobody else cares. So they're not going to say anything about it.
Canelo, come over here and back me up, man. Your uncle's picking on me.
Good. Join the dark side.
All right, even though it's like 2 episodes, I'm really hot because our AC is messed up again. So I think we're just going to end it here because I'm really hot. And drinking hot tea did not help that.
Hey, you are sweating and your face is all red and what have you. I am over here cool as ice.
No, I'm just really hot.
We're literally right next to each other. How are you hotter than I am?
You're too close. Get away from me.
I am a radiator and you can't stop this. I am the heat.
It's like that Lilo and Stitch thing. It's like, stop touching me. Stop touching me.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I hope Disney doesn't sue us for this. Wait, okay. Okay, since we are towards the end of the episode, David, what did you think of your tea?
My tea was pretty good. It gave a nice fresh taste afterwards. I don't know how to describe it. Almost kind of like how you eat some sort of peppermint candy and it gives you that, really fresh taste, but to a more subtle effect. You could obviously taste like the peach and a little bit of the mango here and there. Not really much the coconut, but that's like, me. But no, yeah, all in all, pretty good.
Yeah, and I just looked it up because I wanted to know. Because I like in the not kind of like break because we had to like go and make tea because we forgot about it. I looked it up and Geeky Teas does ship. I don't know if they do it out of the country or just like within California or whatever, but you should check out their website. They have like some really good tea. My tea was sencha tea, and it's just a very light, sort of like delicate green tea flavor. It's really good. I think my taste buds are not the greatest out there, so I really like it when it's a very
really
strong when it's a strong flavor. So I wish I would have kept the tea bag in there for a little bit longer and would have been perfect. And also because I'm really hot, I didn't drink all of it, but I am just about to go. I think now it's like room temperatures. I'm gonna go and put ice in it. The one that David was drinking, because he's like so fruity, I think in the previous episode we talked about how we were like experimenting adding like a little bit of juice to make like iced teas. And so I think this one would be a really good one where you will need maybe just a little bit of like maybe coconut juice or mango juice, and it will like really bring out the flavors of the tea. So if you do give it a try, or if you have any other suggestions as to what we can add to our teas, please let us know, because we would really like to try. Eventually, once I organize it a little bit better, I want to put a picture up of like my tea collection, because I feel like I'm just collecting teapots and like tea boxes and stuff. And yeah, I have a lot of tea. But yeah, this is the end of this episode. Hope you geek out with us and had a great time. David is completely checked out now. His ADHD brain is now telling him that he needs to buy a new microphone for himself.
My brain flatlined like 20 minutes ago. I am so sorry.
That's just what it is like to have ADHD. So we're not going to drag this episode out any longer. You're welcome to check out our other episodes out there. We do, as David sort of like kept mentioning, we do have some episodes where we talk about One Piece. We have episodes where we talk about cartoons. We have episodes where we talk about other things. So feel free to check them out. Let us know your comments. Tell us about your favorite tea and answer the questions that we asked throughout the episode. Like,
if you don't answer the questions, we will find you and we will hurt you emotionally.
David is too lazy to do any of that, but please do answer. Like, the whole point of this episode is to geek out with other people, to have a space for us to just geek out. So yeah, join us. And if you really like some of the episodes, share with other people. You can follow me on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I will be posting something about what the next episode would be that will be released. We are thinking of releasing an episode every Friday. I am not sure what episode will be released after this one, because I don't know, we're not that well organized as of yet. So yeah, hope you have a great time today with us, and don't forget to reframe it and re-enchant your life.